Hi, everyone. I am Stella Sibi. I am a health and fitness coach and host of this Inspire show. I always have a guest who can motivate you, and we usually speaking about health and about mindset. My special guest is today, Renee Jones. Hi, Renee.
Hello, Sarah. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Doing great.
Can you introduce yourself? I know you are a coach, but it's what's all about.
Yeah, I typically help people who are struggling and frustrated by all the diet stuff that they've heard and tried to figure out. And, they may have been on, doing the yo-yo diet thing for a while, and they just need to figure out how to make it work for them. And they get rather discouraged. And maybe they get caught up in what we call emotional eating, where they eat
Hmm.
food to feel better. So I help them overcome that.
Wow, it's nice. And what is your story? Why did you start to do it?
Because I was an emotional eater. My first diet was when I was 10 years old, and my mother was a little concerned about that, but she said, well, if you can figure it out now, then you'll be able to maintain your weight. And unfortunately, she wasn't very good at dieting, and I wasn't either. And it just started the process of we'd stay on the program for a period of time until we went on a trip or went to my grandparents or something came up, and then we'd go off. Or we might get close to our goal and then think, oh, great, now I can eat anything I want. Which, when you do the same thing you've always done, you get the results you've always gotten. So I spent 40 years yo-yoing up and down the scale.
Oh,
And when I was staring down my 50th birthday, I thought, okay, women change at their 50s. If I don't lose it now, I will never lose it. So I made that my New Year's resolution of 2012. I thought, yep, this is going to be my year. I'm going to get it done. And that lasted about 2 weeks. And I fell off and I thought, okay, no, 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 we've got to do this. We've got to get there. And I started again, and I had to start again like the 1st of February and the 1st of March and 1st of April. And unfortunately, about middle of April, I actually had to buy a bigger size. And I was
hmm.
mortified by that because I thought this is going the wrong direction. So I thought, okay, I got to figure out what's going on. And I ran across the term emotional eating, and I had never heard it before, but boy, did it make a lot of sense to me. So I actually hired a coach to help me because I couldn't do it by myself, clearly.
Hmm.
And she helped me work through some things. And the week before my 50th birthday, I hit my goal weight, and I'm still there today. So I thought, I think I figured something out. I think I need to help others.
Yes, and because you know their feelings, you know how uh, with what they are struggling, you can help them.
Mm,
No,
yes,
no, you really know what are they
I
going
understand
through.
it. Yes.
So, and what what is emotional eating, and how do we create it?
Mm.
How do we manage it?
So, emotional eating is eating for any reason other than hunger. I'm bored. I'm upset. I'm stressed. I'm sad. I'm lonely. Those are all ways that we choose food to soothe ourselves. So that's emotional eating. It actually comes probably from birth because the thing is, when a baby cries, we typically pick them up and we put something in their mouths, whether it's
Hmm.
the bottle or the breast or a pacifier, binky, dummy. we put something in their mouths because that is soothing. It's a natural soother. It's just not very sociable when we put things like our thumbs or pens or pencils or whatever else in our mouths. Even smokers, that's the same thing as putting something to your mouth. So the problem is that as we grow up, we just exchange the bottle or the pacifier for our thumbs or biting your nails or the pen. And as you get older, then it becomes like a donut or a piece of candy or whatever else is your chosen food, whatever it is that soothes you. So to overcome that, we've got to figure out what you need. And I have an acronym that I like to share. And I say, overcoming emotional eating isn't hard. You just kind of have to get the hang of it. And hang is the word. H. Am I actually hungry? And if you are, you may need something to eat. But if you are not hungry, then A, what is the attraction to food in that moment? What's drawing you to that? The N is need. What do you actually need? Because you may need a hug, or you may need to talk to your friend, or walk around the building, or just to, bash a pillow. You may need to let some of that out. And the G is go. Go get that, because that will soothe you more than food ever could, and it lasts longer.
I agree. I always tell to my clients they ask themselves always, am I really hungry? Or it's just the time, or it's time to eat, or I don't feel well, that's why I want to eat, or anything else. And I always telling them that try something to do what they like, or just dance, or just go to walk, or just ask her friend to speak with her, or something like that.
Yeah. Do something that actually soothes you, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that soothing. So what else? What are the other options? Food is just easy because it's always available. I mean, in this country, it's on every corner.
Yes.
At a convenience
and it's releasing
store.
dopamine. Yeah. And that's why we are doing it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We need another hit. And food is a very easy way to get that.
And what do you think? Why do diets fail? What is the number one reason?
We stopped doing them. I mean, just like when I was younger, we would go do something different and abandon our diet. And we wouldn't just abandon it, but we'd just go back to eating the way we always had. I mean, I think the important thing about any diet or nutrition plan or food plan, whatever you like to call it, you've got to learn from it. What actually helps you? What keeps you satisfied long enough? What meets your nutritional needs? And then incorporate that into what you're doing after you get to your goal weight. The only way to maintain is to learn what works for your body and do that. So, for example, I lost my weight on the only diet I knew, which was low fat, low calorie. The problem with that was that it left me tired, hungry, and kind of cranky all the time. And even, 2 years in, I was still tired, hungry, and cranky, but I was at my goal weight and I just didn't want to gain any. And I thought, this is stupid. There's got to be something better than this. This is not how the body was made to work. So I went online again to do some more research, and I found a program that helped me figure out what actually worked for my body. And I now give that to my clients. It's kind of a unique nutrition blueprint for them. And it was basically everything that I had not been doing opposite to what I'd been doing, right? And I looked at the diet and I thought, oh, that's not going to work out well, because it had like butter and cheese sauce on the vegetables. And I hadn't looked at fat in a long time. So I thought, well, okay, yes, I'm 52, but I am at my goal weight. A week won't kill me. So I tried the nutrition plan I had, and I lost 2 pounds that week. And I thought, oh no, this, oh yeah, okay, we like this. And I wasn't tired all the time. I wasn't hungry, and God bless my dear sweet husband, I wasn't cranky, right? So I thought, okay, there's something about this that works. We have to learn from nutrition what works for our body, because everybody's different. This chemical storm is different to your chemical storm. And we have to figure out, okay, what makes this body tick? What keeps it in its best nutritional state, and do that. And then you play with your numbers, just adding a few calories here and there so that you come up to your maintenance level. And that's the way you maintain. But the problem is we very often don't do that. We just abandon it all and eat whatever we were eating. And that's not very smart.
Yes, we have to change actually our lifestyle, because if we are going back, if we have a diet for, let's say, two months, and we go back to old diet, we will gain back that weight.
Oh, easily. Yeah. Yeah. And we don't want to do that.
Yes. And how do you, if somebody is live in a with family, and family doesn't want to change their lifestyle, only you are trying to change your lifestyle, it's really hard then, yeah?
It can be.
And
yeah.
the house is full of snacks. How can someone manage that? To not eat that snacks?
Well, there's several things you can do. One is recognize that you have your food and they have theirs. If you do not want to have the chips and the candy bars and all of that, and they do, well, that's theirs. So if you take it, you're stealing. And that's kind of a funky way to think about it, but it can help. That's theirs, this is mine. Now, what I do, because my husband is thin, always has been, I put his stuff in a container that you can't see through. And I put it above my eye level, which is not hard because I'm a short little woman, right? So he can reach those shelves up there. That's where his stuff is. My stuff is in clear containers so that I can see it, right? I don't see his, I do see mine. And I put it right at my eye level. So that's the first thing I see, either in the refrigerator or in the pantry. When I open it, it's like, oh, that's my food. So there's some very practical things. If that doesn't work for you, you can have your own cupboard. This is your cupboard. This is where your stuff is. You just have to always go to that one and not sneak over into somebody else's cupboard, right? Also, make sure you have pretty food, because a lot of the attraction of different foods is it's just so pretty and colorful. Well, there are good options for nutritious food that are pretty and colorful as well.
Yes.
You might make some rules for yourself. When I decided that I was going to give up sugar, because I realized sugar didn't do me any favors whatsoever. Actually, it makes me kind of mean. It's not good for me. Not to mention what it does to my waistline, but just in general, it makes me cranky. So I decided at the time that I would wean myself off of it. So I said, my rule is I only have sugar on Sundays. And that worked pretty well, although I might have been standing in the pantry on a Wednesday once saying, I only have sugar on Sundays. But that lasted for about, a month. And then I came to Sunday, and I had a commitment at 4 o'clock. And it was a place that was about half an hour away from me. So about 3 o'clock, I sat down and I had a cup of tea and whatever sugar I had decided for that day. I think it was a candy bar of some sort. And I ate it slowly, enjoyed it, all of that. And I drove to my commitment and I hit the door and I was flying. I mean, I was so hyped up that the people were like, Renee, are you all right? I said, yeah, I think I just figured out what sugar does to me. And I stopped it after that. So, but having my rule, I only have sugar on Sundays, helped me reach that goal. So you may make a rule for yourself that maybe you want pizza on a Saturday. Maybe you don't want to drink except on Sundays or the weekend or whatever. But if you make rules for yourself and then keep them, that will help you direct your actions. You may also decide that the kitchen is closed after dinner, which means you can go in for water and that's it. You might enlist a buddy, someone that either does or does not live in your home. Periodically, I make sugar-free ice cream, and it's really good, and it's easy to overeat. And occasionally I get into the habit of having it every day, and that's not good for me. And I said to my husband, I'm not having ice cream after dinner. You can, but I'm not. Well, now, because he's so sweet, he waits until I've gone off to do something else, and then he goes and gets his ice cream. So having a buddy help you establish the rules and disciplines of what you want to do. It's really helpful. So those are some things that you can do.
It's all good ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, when I decided to not to eat sugar also, and I actually when I eat sometimes, then I felt I had the feeling that it's not good for my body. So I stopped and I'm not craving it. And I don't care if somebody else eating something with sugar beside me. I don't care, really don't care, because I know it's not good for my body. And that's why I don't want to eat. I always find some replacement for it.
Yeah.
And I'm doing cake for myself. And without sugar, without wheat. And I really enjoy it. And it's everybody else when they taste it. So I'm okay without sugar. So
yeah. Because once you get a week, 10 days into it, you don't have the taste for it anymore.
And it's the how much is sweet something. It's a big difference, because I now don't eat when I try something with sugar. I feel like it's too sweet, it's it's too much for me, and I don't like it anymore. We have to, let's say, we can change how much sugar or honey putting in our coffee or tea. We can change it from 2 teaspoons to 1 teaspoon, and it's a big difference.
Yeah.
And we can lower the sweetness.
I used to drink, I still drink tea, but I used to have sugar in it. And I finally broke myself of that, just gradually, very gradually decreasing it. I don't even use a sweetener in it of any sort. And now if it has sugar in it, it's just all kinds of wrong. I don't like it. So yeah, you can get yourself free of that if you want to.
Yeah. I like natural things, so I usually use honey because it's so natural. So I don't. Sometimes I'm using erythritol, but
yes,
It's
Yeah.
only sometimes, mostly honey, and I recommend that to my clients also.
Do you know, I found someone challenged me on my whole sugar thing, and they said, "Have you ever tried honey?" I said, "Yeah, I would think it would be the same." It's not. It doesn't make me cranky or mean. I was surprised that I can use honey and it's fine. It's amazing the things that are, I mean, because sugar cane is actually a natural product. It's just cleaned a lot, but it
It's
affects us
processed.
differently.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
processed. So manage, let's say, holidays or family events.
Yes, parties, family events. Okay, so what I suggest is that you create some rules for yourself. When I go to a party, especially if there's like a buffet, then I do a kind of reconnaissance round first. I just go around and see what's there. And, so I'll know what I'm going to prioritize and what I want to stay away from. I know I can't go over to that table because that's too tempting, but I can stay over here and play all I want. So just having a look first and make a plan on the spot. If you have the opportunity to take like a salad plate rather than a dinner plate, it's that optical illusion that the plate is full, so you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to have as much. Remember benefits of sticking with your plan, right? How will you feel tonight, tomorrow, next week when you get on the scale?
Mm-hmm.
Which one is more important to you? Having whatever that is right now, or feeling better in a week's time? Now, holiday meals are kind of fraught with too much temptation. So what I often say is, what is the food that means this holiday to you? If you didn't have this, it wouldn't quite be the holiday for you. And have some of that. Have a small portion of that, but have some of it so that you get the opportunity, you get those flavors. Or if you can come up with something that's similar, that isn't quite so won't make stuff stick to your body as much, then do that. I've come up with some alternative recipes for things that I've always had, and it's just close enough to get the idea, and I'm not missing out,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels okay. Either that or say, okay, this is a holiday, not a holla month, right? It's one day, possibly two. So if you can enjoy what you're going to enjoy that day and then leave it, go back to plan as soon
Mm-hmm.
as possible. Because, I'm as bad as anyone else. I really don't want to upset my mother-in-law by saying no thank you to certain foods. So I think, okay, this is the day, I'll do it now. And tomorrow I'll be right back on plan. So it's just making
Yes.
choices that make you feel better in the end.
Yes. Some cheat days it's okay because it's most important what we are doing every day, our habits, and
Yes,
not just what we are doing sometimes.
yes. Now, I will say there's some people who cannot do that. They're almost like alcoholics when it comes to certain food. And they call them abstainers. They must abstain if they're going to stay on. Then there's some who can moderate their intake based on how they feel that day. So know yourself, know what you need, and do that.
But for that, people usually need a coach because
Yes.
most of them they can't do it alone.
Yeah. 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 It's hard to do it by yourself. I couldn't
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
because sometimes they don't know what is the problem, why they can't lose weight, and that's
Mhm.
why need some expert who can tell them it's what's
Yeah.
all about.
and hold them accountable for it. Because sometimes that's what we need most is, yes, we need some guidance, but we need someone that we will come back to and will ask us, okay, what was going on? Why did you do that? What was that about? And tease that out so that they can see it. And then they can make a good choice.
Yes, and many times they are not aware how much they are eating. I always telling them they to write down what are they eating all the day, all through the day, and what are they drinking, and let do it a few days, and they will see how many they are eating. They all thought, oh, I'm not eating too much. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Just write down and you will see.
Well, even now, I'm almost 11 years at my goal weight. And even now, sometimes I track what I'm eating and I measure or weigh things because we get creep. If you're trying to look at it and judge, is that 6 ounces or 8 ounces or whatever it is, it's so easy for it to be more. It's almost never less, but it's easy to be more. And you just have to retrain your eye to what is a portion size.
Yes.
So there's no shame in having to step back and go, okay, what are we doing? It's kind of like cleaning your house. You may skip a week or so and then have to go back and dust everything because you haven't been paying attention to it. And that's okay. You just do it. And we have to just do the food measurements again sometimes as well. It's just because we're human.
Yes. Sometimes we can just change the plate.
Yes.
For smaller plate. And
yes.
that
helps.
Big one. The big bowls.
And I don't know about you, but our plates have gotten bigger in the last 30 years. When I started collecting china, I wasn't dating anybody. But I was, 28 years old, and I thought, I just want pretty china in my home. So I started, collecting at Christmas and birthdays. Those were the gifts I would be given. And the dinner plates that I was given then are now what they call the luncheon or breakfast plate. And the dinner plate so it's like 9 inches, and our dinner plates are 10.5. So they've just gotten bigger over the years. And it's crazy. It's like, we don't need that much space on a plate. We'll just fill it up.
Yeah.
So pay attention to your plate.
Yes, I always telling to my clients, just use a much smaller plate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I heard you speak about Starport, epidemic Starport, because it's how does the low self-worth, how does it relate to emotional eating?
Well, I think it often creates emotional eating because when you feel bad about yourself, it's really hard to pull yourself out of that. And, if I'm really sad and thinking I got no value and I'm really stupid and not doing things right, it's a quick fall down the hill. And we go for something easy to build us up a bit. And, chocolate's great for that. Cake is great for that because it's a soothing thing. So if we can build our value in ourselves by something other than just putting something in our mouths, then we get free of it. We don't have to do that quite so much. And eventually you won't need it at all for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something you've got to learn how to value who you are. Because, unless, in fact, sometimes I'll ask my client, okay, who did you kill? Well, no one. Okay, so you stole a lot of money, right? No. Oh, okay. So you must abuse children. No. I said, okay, I don't understand. How could you not have value? If you don't do the three biggies that we think of as terrible behavior, why would you think you have no value?
Great one. I like it.
Yeah.
So, if you could go back and give yourself or younger yourself some advice, what would you say?
I would say lighten up, love yourself, and just be kind. That'll get you through so much. Because we just react differently when we feel better about ourselves. If we can love ourselves, we can handle just about anything. Because there's not that question in the back of your mind, all, yeah, you're terrible at this. Why are you so stupid? All of that negative self-talk. If you don't have that going on all the time, how much space is there in your brain?
Yes.
Lighten
Negative
up,
self-talk.
love yourself, and be kind.
Yes. So, and I want to ask you about uh, your diet. What is your diet now?
Me?
How do you eat?
Well, what I found was that sugar and starches don't agree with my body. They certainly don't agree with my mind. My chemistry doesn't do well with them. So I just avoid sugar and starches, and I'm pretty good. I do some protein shakes because I like them. I do a lot of eggs and chicken, pork, beef, that sort of thing. But I just try to be really careful with starchy vegetables. Try to avoid that as much as I can. And I don't have celiac, but gluten doesn't agree with me very well. So if I just avoid sugars and starches, that's the easiest thing. And in fact, when I was a young teenager, that was advice my grandmother gave me. She said, Renee, if you will avoid sugar and starches, you'll be fine. Dog it if she wasn't right. So that's what I do.
How old are you now? Can I ask you?
Sure. I am 60. I'll be 61 in October.
You look great.
Thank you.
Really?
It's because I'm so
That's
childlike. Childish. Yeah, no, childlike. I think it's important to keep a child's heart.
Yes.
Yeah. If you get old before you are, that's a waste of time and space, isn't it?
But we get slower doing slower things. That's why we are getting older. But if we don't slow it, we are doing things and doing exercises we are feeling good in our body. We can feel amazing. And it doesn't matter how old are we, I think. We can continue with this lifestyle and we can feel good.
Yeah, I was amazed by how much a walk in the morning helped me feel younger. I mean, it helped me. I mean, I know exercise is important for the body, but I think it's just as important for the mind. Just being out in nature. And I mean, I take the dog and we go and we'll walk 4 miles, 5 miles, Right now he's a puppy and he really needs the walk.
It's good.
Burn off some of that energy. Yeah. But I plug in my earbuds and put on some good stuff to listen to, motivational or inspiring or just fun. And it helps me so much. I just don't feel right if I can't get that in on a day.
Yeah. When I go to walk with my dogs, I usually doing some exercises too. So I I'm making videos about outdoor workouts, how we
Ah,
can do it, you
yeah.
know.
That's great. I'll look those up.
So, do you have some advice for my listeners?
Sure. How about a craving buster? Would that work? Would that be good? Yeah. Okay. So if there is some food that you just have to have, you can't stop yourself, that's fine. Just don't eat it over the sink or the trash can. If you have to have this food, put it on a plate, use knife, fork, spoon, whatever's appropriate. Sit down at your table, put out, a tablecloth, placemat, something. Make it look like a meal and look like a nice meal. Sit down, eat slowly, squeeze all the flavor out of every bite, and enjoy it. You've got to give the food the same honor that you are giving your craving. But if you're
I love
if
it.
if you're going to eat it, you better enjoy it because you're going to pay for it later, right? So you enjoy it at the time. And it's interesting that if you actually take the time to enjoy a forbidden food, you don't need as much and you don't need it as soon again.
I love it. Yes. Thank you. I think you were very inspirational for my listener,
Thank
and I
you.
hope they will learn something from it.
Me too.
And I really enjoyed this talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.